Hey there, hope you're having a good day. You may not know what each crafting material does in Undecember. This is a guide to talk about each of them. We'll go quick on some of them because they're just repeats at higher rarity. But there are some patterns here, but it is important you know what each of them do, how you should use them, and also see why some are much more valuable than others. So let's get into it. Firstly, Magic Upgrade Essence, you're going to get a ton of these. It just changes, it does exactly what it says, changes a normal or magic item into a magic item. The key is it resets the maximum option count. These things over here, the stats down here, these are called options. And a magic can have at most 3. You see, I already have 3 on here. So I've got the maximum number of options. But if I use this, look, now it only has 2 options on it. And that's 1 visible and 1 hidden. Okay. The Magic Birth Essence doesn't change the number of options. It just re-rolls them. So the relationship between these two is typically you'll use the Upgrade Essence until you get 3 options. And then you start using the Birth Essence to just re-roll those options. Let's talk about this one. This one is rarer than the others because it's just like the Birth Essence, but the Fixed Essence lets you choose one of the options and guarantee that that option is still on the item. What it doesn't do is guarantee that the tier is still on the item. And I'm going to illustrate that for you. Over here we have HP. I'm going to select HP over here. Say OK. And now if I click enchant, it's still going to have HP, but all other options existing doesn't change the count. All other options are going to be different. So it still has HP, but before I had a higher tier HP. It actually rolled a lower one. So these are pretty valuable if you know what you're doing with crafting, but for the most part, use them with care. If you have a high tier and you use this, if you have a high tier option and you use this, you're probably getting a low tier option. So very valuable, but the use case is also less. Let me roll some hidden options. So sometimes you'll see items with this on it, with the question mark. It's almost like that option is unidentified. Well, these coins, the Magic Imbue Essence, just reveals that hidden option. So if I use it here, it revealed the 44 mana option. That was already on this item, but it was hidden from me. Didn't affect my stats before. Now it does. Now it's there. You'll note that I can't use more of this because there are only 2 options on this thing. There are a max of 3 for magic items, right? So I could use magic upgrade essences. As a matter of fact, this is what I should do if I'm crafting, is keep using magic upgrade essences until I get the 3 slots. But if I'm using a magic upgrade essence over and over and say I get something that I really want, well, instead of continuing to roll, I'll go over here to the expansion essence. Now, the expansion essence, this is another material that's somewhat rare and you should use sparingly. It just adds another option. Assuming the grade or it being magic, it can hold another one. There's only 1 option, so it can hold 2 more. So I added another option by using this. Okay. And so I feel like that one's pretty straightforward. It's just important to understand as well that, look, now I've got 3. I can't use it anymore because the max is 3. Let's talk about the Magic Change Essence now. This is the last one of the magic grade enchanting materials. So all this does, everything stays the same. The only difference is, and I'm going to click this magnifying glass, within, in this case, tier 9, it can roll between 500 and 576 within that tier. This does not change the tier. So you're not going to get a higher tier out of this if you sit there and roll this. It keeps everything here the same. The only thing it changes is this, the number that rolls in this range. So look at the tier 9, 522. See how it went to 520? And this one's 4 to 5. See how it went to 4? See, you're not guaranteed to get higher, and see it went back to 5, went to 522. That's what the change essence does. Usually you'd only use it if you got tiers you like, options you like, but within their tier they rolled low. You can use this to get them to a higher value. Random upgrade essence. This is a good way, I think. I haven't gotten a unique out of it, but this is a way to target farm uniques. You do have to make sure the type of item is the same as the unique you're trying to get. I think that's how it works. I'm still testing, but it is important to keep in mind the type of item. And when I say type, I mean like the base type, including the unique options that it has as a bonus, need to be the same. Anyway, once I find out more, I'll probably make a guide on this one. But it just changes a normal magic or rare item into anything between magic and unique. So, Reversion Essence, very common, very useful when you're crafting, because if you get the wrong stats, you can start over by reverting it back to a normal item. So you're going to use this a lot if you do a lot of crafting. Rare Upgrade Essence, same story as the Magic Upgrade Essence. Rares have a max of 6 options on them, and they'll have a minimum of 4. So if I were to use it on this, it's going to either give me, it's going to add a 4th, because it keeps the existing options here. It's going to add a 4th. It's going to add between 1 and 3 options, is what I'm trying to say. So here it added 2 options, and it kept the existing options with their existing tiers. So it's just adding more, upgrading to rare. The Rare Birth Essence, same as the magic one, keeps the number of options, just completely re-rolls them. Fixed Essence, same as the magic version. The coin here, the Rare Imbue Essence, same as the magic one. These are pretty rare to have, so you don't want to use these. Don't use them just all over the place. Be very selective about how you use these. And I'll talk about the relationship between this and the Disintegration Essence here in a second. Rare Change Essence, same story, doesn't change tier or option, just re-rolls within a tier. Expansion Essence, also very rare material. Don't just spend them all the time. So let's talk Disintegration Essence. This is a very useful crafting tool. There's so much RNG here that it can be painful, but it can save a craft that you are working on, that you finally get almost everything you want on it. What this does is it hides one of these options and puts a new one in its place. So if I use it here, you see it removed one of my existing ones and put an empty one, or not an empty one, but a hidden one. And that's the relationship between this one and the coin, because now I can reveal it and see if it's something I want. So if you're almost to the perfect item, right? You might be going back and forth between these a little bit. That's very expensive, but hey, if you're close to having the best item ever, hey, might be worth it. Okay, Quality Birth Essence. This can only be used on normal items. What it does is it randomly rolls the quality between 1 and 20%. All quality does is increase the base value of the item. It does not affect options down here. It only affects the base value of the item. And if I do the magnifying glass, you'll see the blue plus 98. that's coming from the quality. So getting a good quality before you start investing in a base item is important. You may want to sit there and roll to try to get a high quality if you know this is a base you're going to use long term. But for the most part, these are not cheap. You don't get that many of them. So like the others, use it like it's a rare resource. Only use it on items you know you're going to keep for a long time. Quality Modification Essence. This is like the big brother to the Birth Essence. What this does is an item that is any tier, in any rarity, including legendary. It's going to give you between -5 and +10 quality to its existing quality. So if you had 15 quality on something, it'll go either up to 25 or it'll tear it down to 10. It'll between there. It's not specifically -5 or +10. It's a range. So you may look out and you may regret it. So be prepared when using these that it may not be at all what you want. Also use them sparingly because they're really rare. Ideally, you would use this on an item that you have crafted to perfection and you just want to have a little bit more on there. Use this, but be prepared to be extremely disappointed, as in all things. Let's talk about the prefix and suffix option specific rolling here, because this is a more advanced part of enchanting or crafting in this game. You have to have a good knowledge of what are prefixes and what are suffixes and what can roll. But the use case of these is, say you're rolling an item and you find that all of your prefixes or all of your suffixes are exactly what you want. But the other side, you want different ones in there. This is what that tool is for. So the one on the left is prefix, the one on the right is suffix. Prefixes are on the left here, on the tier icon. You see a dot at the top, that's a prefix, or it's thicker at the top, that's a prefix. A dot at the bottom or thicker at the bottom, that's a suffix. So this will re-imbue all of the prefixes on a magic or rare item, completely just reset them. And this one will do the same for suffixes. The prefix and suffix option removal essence works just like the Disintegration Essence, except specifically targeted at prefixes and suffixes. Okay. The Unique Change Essence does just like the other rarities do. Legendary Upgrade Essences, extremely rare. But yeah, does exactly what it says. One thing to note with this is you use this, you can no longer enchant the existing options, meaning the options that were already there when you use this are set in stone and you can't change them anymore. So when you use this, you should have a perfect item, basically. This will add an additional option to a legendary item. So just like the other coins. And now for the Vesper and the Alyssa essences. Vesper is very useful for crafting. What it does is it keeps the options the same on a rare item. It keeps them the same and makes at least one option to be the highest tier. That is an incredible material there. You've got all the options you want on an item, but maybe they're not the tiers you'd like. You can use this. At least one is going to be the top tier. If you're using this, it should be an item above level 90, so it can have a tier 10 on it. But yeah, super useful. Use sparingly. Alyssa Essence, not really as good as the other one in my opinion. It completely randomizes. It's the same as these rare birth essences. It's the same thing, except it has a high chance, or it it has a higher chance to have a higher tier. One of them be high tier. That's it. So, in my opinion, doesn't feel really good. This one, it's still complete. It's way too random for such a rare resource. Now, the rest of these are authority essences. You can imbue authority. So when you're running cards, you can enhance those cards to give them what's called authority, which just means throughout that card, you're going to have a boss encounter. Those bosses can drop items that have authority, which means they have other options aside from the normal pool of options that most items are going to have. They have these special options that can appear on the items, even when you're crafting them. So if you get an authority item and you break it down to a normal item, use the Reversion Essence on it, you can craft with that, and you can target certain affixes that are bound to this authority. So what these do is they let you just put authority on any item. So, and you'd have to learn what each of these authorities give as far as the special options. But the ideal case here is that you have a base item that you're going to spend some resources on and upgrade, and you want certain options from a specific authority. Okay, we went through all of them. If you have questions, if you feel like I missed something, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.